David, Melech Israel, Chai, Chai, Vekayam. David 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 Melech Israel, Chai, Chai, Vekayam. Shalom from Israel, dear family and friends, and we're looking at the promises of God in our Bibles. That old Israeli folk song says, David Melech Israel, David the king of Israel. Chai v'kayam, he is alive and he exists. David Melech Israel, Chai v'kayam. Shalom from Israel. We're looking at the 16th chapter of the book of Matthew. And we've come to Mark verses 23 through the end of the chapter. Chapter 16, verses 23 through 28. But he turned and said unto him, remember, Simon Peter had just rebuked him and said, Lord, you're not going to go. You're not going to give your life. You're not going to be killed. No way. No way. He had just, well, in verse 17, he had said, you are the blessed one. You are the one. You're the son of, you are the one, the Mashiach, the Messiah. And it says, actually you should mark from 17 through 21 and then 23. Well, basically 17 to the end of the chapter. So when he said, whom do men say that the Son of Man am? And then who do you say that I am? Then Simon Peter answered, and he said, you are the Messiah, the Mashiach, the Son of the living God. And Yeshua answered and said unto him, blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Yonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. I say unto thee that thou art Peter, Petros, and upon this rock, Petra, I will build my Kehillah, or my ecclesia, my called out ones. And the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Then charged he his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Yeshua, the Mashiach, the Messiah. And so we see here the promises. He says, and then he goes on. So we see the promises in 17 through 20. Verse 21, he said, I got to go to Jerusalem. I'm going to go to be killed. And the scribes and the Pharisees and the elders and the chief priests, and I'll be killed and I'll be raised again on the third day. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, far be it from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee. But he turned unto Peter, and he said, get thee behind me, Satan, for thou art an offense unto me. For thou savorest not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. And, back in verses, like verse 18, we said, you're Peter, and upon this rock. And we know it's a common misunderstanding to think that Peter was the rock. All the way through the scriptures, the second person of the Trinity, Yeshua HaMashiach, Yeshua the Messiah, he is the rock. He is the stone which the builders rejected. He is the stone that followed the people of Israel, the rock that followed them in the wilderness. So it's not Peter that's the rock. As a matter of fact, the word Peter means little pebble. Petros. He said, upon this Petra. Petra means a big, gigantic, massive crag or massive cliff. And they were right there at Caesarea Philippi by that. There's an old temple there to the Greek god Pan. And they worshiped him there on that giant crag, that giant cliff. And so he's saying, you are a little pebble, Peter, but upon this massive rock, which is myself. Or at the very least, it was Peter's confession of his messiahship. You see, for anyone that believes that Yeshua is the Messiah is born of God. The Bible clearly says. So, he says, I will build my called out ones. I'll build my ecclesia, my kehillah. And then he talks about the binding and loosing, and we see this in the book of Acts as it works out, that Peter and the other disciples bind and loose, and they're able to open the gospel in Jerusalem, and then in Judea and Samaria. They go down to Samaria, and then they go to Caesarea, the other Caesarea, near where I live. I'm not there today. I'm up in the Judean hills today, but the hills of Judea, not far from Jerusalem. But I usually live near Caesarea by the sea. I'm usually there. And that's the seaside Caesarea, and this where this took place is the mountain Caesarea with the great mighty cliff there. But upon this rock, upon this confession, and upon me as the rock, I am the rock. The Messiah is the rock. I will build my ecclesia, my called out ones. Verse 24, mark through 24 through 28. Then Yeshua said unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, notice he's not saying if you want to be saved from the lake of fire and have spiritual salvation. He's not saying that. He said if you want to come after me in discipleship. Not every born-again believer is a disciple. I pray that you are a disciple and that you are discipling, teaching others. But sad to say, many people, they're saved by the grace of God and they never really get into discipleship. But they're just as saved as you and I. The only thing that's different is rewards. And now he's going to talk here about rewards. Okay? He said unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. And we see in a parallel passage, he says, take up his cross every day, daily, and follow me. So this is not a one-time thing, it's a lifestyle. And we're not saved by works anyway. Nobody gets to heaven by following Jesus. We're saved by believing in the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world and accepting his free offer of salvation and believing that it's true. For whoever shall save his life shall lose it, and whoever shall lose his life for my sake shall find it. Salvation and being saved from hellfire doesn't cost you anything, but discipleship will cost you everything. We need to be ready to give everything. And many born-again believers they're not going to go to hell. They're going to be saved, but they're going to lose themselves. They're going to lose their own souls. For what shall it profit if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? And I know many times this has been preached that, you lose your soul by going to hell. And that is one possible interpretation, but I don't believe it's the favored one. I think he's talking here to believers, and it's about giving our lives in discipleship. Verse 27, for the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall record every man, he shall award, he shall give to every man, he shall reward every man according to his works. Now, this is not spiritual salvation from the lake of fire. He's going to reward us according to our works. You work a little, you'll get a little. You work a lot, you'll be awarded with much in his coming kingdom. Now, that's not salvation. Salvation is free to anyone who believes. But here he's going to reward us for our works. And truly, or verily I say unto you, there shall be some here standing that shall not taste of death till they shall see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Now, this issue about being rewarded for our works, some people don't like that because they're more spiritual than God. I'm so altruistic. I don't want to work. for any kind of reward. Well, what if that's the way God set it up? Indeed, that is the way he has set it up. You're going to be saved by believing, but look at the way the Apostle Paul puts it. If you don't suffer with the Messiah, you're not going to rule and reign with him. You'll be in the kingdom. You might have the smoke of hellfire on you, but you'll be in the kingdom. You'll be saved, but you might not have be rewarded very much in the kingdom. He says here in the second epistle of Paul the Apostle to Timothy, chapter 2, and he's talking about enduring hardness, right? Chapter 2, verse 3, therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yeshua the Messiah. He says in verse 10, therefore I endure all things for the elect's sake. The elect, most of the places where it talks about the elect, it's talking about the nation of Israel. We can talk about election and free will and predestination and foreordination and man's responsibility and all of that maybe another time. But a lot of the places where, we have this reformed movement that's happening now, this hyper-Calvinism, and they take a lot of verses that are talking about the elect being Israel, the people of Israel, and apply it to individual believers in a not so legitimate way sometimes. But he's talking here about enduring hardship. Okay? And look at verse 11 of 2 Timothy chapter 2. He's enduring all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain salvation, verse 10, which is in Messiah Yeshua with eternal glory. It is a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him. If we suffer, verse 12, we shall also reign. You won't rule and reign in the Messianic kingdom unless you suffer with the Messiah. He has called us to suffering to earn an eternal weight of glory. If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. This is not spiritual salvation from the lake of fire. This is rewards. If we deny him, he also shall deny us. Before his Father one day, we don't want to be ashamed of his coming. We don't want him to deny us in front of the Father, to say, I never knew them. We're already in the kingdom. We're there with him. We're saved. We're not in hell. But he may say, he may not say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. If we believe not, yet he abideth faithful, he cannot deny himself. So if a believer has doubts if they're saved or not, but they're really born again, he is faithful. You don't stop being saved every time you doubt your salvation. Anyway, so the Bible is full. It's replete with rewards passages. Look at the very last chapter of the Bible, just real quickly here, and then the sun is going down, so we're losing light. But the book of Revelation, he's going to award every man according to his works. The last book of the Bible, the last chapter of the Bible, chapter 22, verse 12, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me. Someone told me recently, Jesus, he's just the reward himself. Well, if he's the reward himself only, he is the reward, but he's also going to be bringing rewards to us. Otherwise, it wouldn't say, he is coming and his reward is with him. So the reward is something else that he's bringing. Behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. Now, we're saved by grace through faith, that not of ourselves, it is a gift of God. That grace is a gift of God, lest any man should boast. And we drink the water of life freely, coming to know him in the free pardon of sin and salvation. But we work for our status in the coming kingdom. He's going to come with his reward with him and give to every man according to his works. Is this salvation by works? No way. Salvation is by grace through faith plus nothing. But rewards, the teaching of rewards is almost never spoken about in the modern in the modern church. Rewards are almost never mentioned, but the Bible puts a great emphasis on it. He says, I'm outside are the dogs, and he that loveth and maketh a lie. I am the root and the offspring of David Melech Israel, David, the king of Israel, the bright and morning star. And then look at this, verse 17. Not talking about works anymore, it's talking about the free gift of salvation. And the Spirit and the bride say, Come. And let him that heareth say, Come. And let him that is athirst come. And whosoever will, let him take the water of life freely. So we take and we drink of the water of life, and we tell people about that. Believe the promise that he gave to forgive our sins and to be our salvation. The Lamb of God slain before the foundation of the world. The Passover Lamb. The Son of David. You know, David's going to come and he's going to get a reward. How do we sing, David Melech Israel Chai V'Kayam? David, the King of Israel, is alive and exists because David is going to come and he's going to sit with Messiah on his throne. It says that about 5 or 6 places in the Bible. Oh, well, that's talking about the greater son of David. No, it says the Messiah is going to be on his throne and David. And it says that the Jewish people are going to come back and they're going to seek Yahweh, the Lord their God, and David their king. So he's going to be rewarded to sit with the Messiah on the throne in the New Jerusalem, in the rebuilt temple. And so we shouldn't think it's strange that he wants to give us rewards according to our work. Now, are you working for him? Are you writing down, are you marking these promises and sharing them with other people? Please do. People need to hear this. It's the most important thing in the world. David, Melech Israel, David, the king of Israel, Chai V'Kayam. He is alive and he exists. David, Melech Israel, Chai V'Kayam. David, Melech Israel, Chai V'Kayam. David, Melech Israel, Chai V'Kayam. God bless you. Keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem. Keep praying for the salvation and blessing and protection over the Jewish people. Please keep praying for Israel. God bless you. Keep marking and sharing the promises. Love you so much. Until next time, shalom from Israel.